Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the channel. I am aTone. This is aToneTarot. Virgo, you are tuned in for the topic of new levels, new devils. So going into 2026, I will be breaking down the entire the entire year into quarters, Virgo. So every 3 months, I'll be tapping in using a different deck for 2026 to see what new challenges you may be facing in 2026. So that's what I mean when I say new levels, new devils. If you're aspiring for higher heights, you're going to encounter a different set of challenges, Virgo. So without further ado, let's get up into your message. I'll be using a traditional tarot to break down the first quarter of 2026 from January to March. I'll tap in via the Oracle character deck for the second quarter. I'll use the Kipper for the third quarter of 2026 and my Inner Wisdom deck to close out 2026. So Virgo, without further ado, if you could please smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it. But let's get up into your message, Virgo. I hope all is well. To my new viewers, welcome to the channel. To my returning viewers, welcome back. I appreciate you. Yes. Let's see what my Virgos may be facing entering into 2026. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Five cards, please. One more card. Okay, so as it relates to the first quarter of 2026, my Virgos receive the Three of Swords, the High Priestess, the Page of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. So as it relates to challenges you may encounter in the first 3 months of 2026, this is looking like maybe some secrets come out. You are revealed. Some secrets are revealed and they're not so favorable. Somebody's been cheating, Virgo, not so honest with you. Or you're not being honest with this High Priestess and this Three of Swords being here. The Page of Cups is somebody owing someone an apology. And maybe there's a reset. But even in the reset, you can't get back on a good ground with this Ten of Wands being here. This is someone who may have said they forgave for the indiscretion, but you're finding it to be challenging to regain someone's trust and or start over again. I know it's kind of dark as it relates to the cards, but I just want to see what it looks like. All right, I might use a different deck, but anyway, yeah, Virgo, you have some challenges with betrayal and secrets going on that might pop up and out, or if those secrets came out at the end of 2025 and they're bleeding over into 2026, it's creating a challenge for you to get over it. Like you might have said you could get over something, but you're seeing that, yeah, maybe not. You're seeing some challenges in love in your relationship. Let me clarify this Three of Swords as well as the Ten of Wands. I want to see what challenges are, let's dig a little deeper on these challenges. But I'm going to start with this Three of Swords. Why is this Three of Swords here? Where is this betrayal coming from? Is it love? Is it family? Is it friends? For my Virgos. Why is this Three of Swords here? One more card. That's this. Okay, so the Three of Swords is clarified by Temperance, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Page of Wands. So whatever this is, Virgo, it's for your own good. You dodged the bullet. This is going to set you on a path of where you actually should be. And you may gain some recognition or some people singing your praises and maybe even saying that the person really fumbled you. Like, yeah, you know, it might be enough people like, yeah, that they messed that up. Or, you know, there's chatter around what happens or what happened in this relationship with friends and a network of individuals. Yeah, so let's see what's up with this Ten of Wands. Why is this Ten of Wands here? All right, so the Ten of Wands was clarified by the Three of Wands, the Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. So somebody is putting up some boundaries because somebody hurt them. They didn't get back what they thought they would, what they put out there. They put honesty, integrity, loyalty, respect, and that's not necessarily what they got back in return. And now someone's guarded because they can't understand how this thing went left. Something escalated and took a turn very quickly and became a burden fast. And then when you look back on it, Virgo, all of the signs might have been there, but you were so elated and over the moon with the person. You had rose-colored glasses to some degree with the person that you might have missed it. So that's the first 3 months of 2026. Let's see what's going on in the second quarter of the year, from April until the end of June, for my Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's see what's going on, Virgo. What challenges are my Virgos going to encounter in the second quarter? Do cards that fall on the floor, Virgo. More cards, please. One more card. All right, Virgo. So you receive spiritual seeker, painter, farmer, betrayal, and repairman for the second quarter of 2026. As far as challenges you may face. Sorry, Virgo, I gotta get this view right. It will bother me otherwise, so forgive me. For the second quarter of 2026, and some challenges you may face is basically trying to repair the hurt that from what took place in that first quarter, as far as the betrayal, right? Because it's still here in the second quarter of 2026. Because betrayal in this spread is the equivalent to the Three of Swords in the previous spread. And you see repairman is right behind that. So you're working still, or it may be a challenge to repair or work with the person that you need to repair the situation with. You may have to continue to see them, interact with them for one reason or another. And because with farmer being here, that's something that is dug in and vested. It's cultivated. It's woven. It's, with this painting also being here, intricate detail, the way that your lives are intertwined. So it's not as simple as just walking away. There's nuance to this situation that is very interesting with spiritual seeker being here. It may be some type of divine karmic relationship that you are fully aware of, but this person did something that in your eyes is very maybe unforgivable, Virgo, and you have to work through it. But you're seeking out advice from above on how you can repair this situation. Work from the inside out. That's what I see my Virgos doing in the second quarter of 2026. And that may be a challenge itself. Like working on yourself from the inside out and really seeking spiritual guidance and assistance with what needs to be done in relation to this relationship. Forgiveness is the first step. And even separating and understanding the differences between you and this other person, and whether there be acceptance of those things and remaining together, or acceptance and separation. The second quarter of 2026 for my Virgo collective will include quite a bit of self-reflection. And that may be a bit of a challenge for you, right? It's very difficult sometimes for us to look in that mirror. Accountability don't come easy for a lot of people. Trust me, I know. I sit amongst a lot of people that they don't say sorry. An apology, not doing that. The acknowledgement of the thing that they did, we ain't doing that either. We're just going to act like it didn't happen. Or, just be quiet and let time go by, never mentioning ever what was done and how that might have made someone else feel, or what that looks like to the other person. No, none of that. And then get an attitude with you, because you want that. You want some level of accountability, because that's what you give. You're like, look, I give accountability and I want that in return if this relationship is going to be sustained. Doesn't always work that way, unfortunately, Virgo. So the only person you can control is yourself, and you work from there. So let's see what the third quarter of 2026 is going to look like for my Virgos. And if you haven't done so already, please smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it. All right, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Third quarter of 2026. What do we have for my Virgo collective? Again, I don't do cards that fall on the floor. Two more cards, please. So as it relates to the third quarter of 2026, we have Privileged Lady in reverse, Expectation, Sudden Wealth in reverse, Concern, and Pathway. So as it relates to some challenges going on in the third quarter, I ain't even gonna lie to you, Virgo. It's looking like it may be a little rough in the third quarter of 2026, meaning not rough in the sense that it's rock bottom, but rough in the sense of tightening up the budget. You know, not eating out as much, not spending money at Starbucks. You're gonna have to really look at your budget and in relation to how you operate and think. Like, you're going to be thinking, how did I wind up here that I have to go backwards and now nickel and dime and count my coins with every transaction, when at one point in time you were privileged. You lived a very privileged life, and you may be a little upset with where your life is currently sitting, and you have to make some decisions around what's next. Like, you expected to continue to live this very privileged kept life, and this is not just for my ladies. You know, men are taken care of and spoiled in their own ways as well. And I'm speaking to a Virgo who may not have such a elaborate, opulent, beautiful life, and there may be some roughing it or some sacrifices that need to be made, are going to have to be made in the third quarter of 2026. Yeah, this is like you going from a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house to downsizing to a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And it's like, you know, it's still enough space, Virgo. It's just a little tighter, you know, but you gotta bring it down a notch, you know. You may need to reset your expectations. Take a look at your expectations in the third quarter and be realistic about those expectations and what that looks like, because maybe you thought you were in the money with someone and your life was going to be sweet and set up and lavish, and it took a turn in the first quarter, and you were hit by a doozy with that high priestess being in that first quarter, that first spread, that I told you secrets being revealed. Something came out and By the third quarter of 2026, you're going to be looking like, how the hell did I wind up here? This is not where I thought I was going to be. Yeah. So let's take a look at the last quarter of 2026 from October to December. What is the close of 2026 going to look like as it relates to challenges for my Virgos? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Three more cards, please, Spirit, for my Virgos. Two more cards, please, Spirit. Card. And there we go. All right, so Virgo, for the close of 2026, you receive strength. Be patient, honesty, guarded, responsibility. And we're talking about challenges, right? So these are the challenges that you are going to encounter closing out 2026. So remember, you having to be strong, tightening up that budget, making some sacrifices. It could be a struggle because, again, with privileged lady being in reverse in the previous spread in the third quarter, you are not accustomed to maybe living your life this way and having to do and carry everything by yourself. So it may be a situation, not necessarily that you have to carry everything by yourself, but you're carrying more responsibility than you're accustomed to, and it's causing an issue inside of you, right? And remember, I said you had to be realistic or be honest with yourself about where you were in life. You know, you need to administer some patience. Sitting still and waiting is one of the most challenging things to do. Not now, but later. When? That's a hard place to sit. Oh, trust me, I know. It's one of my biggest challenges, right? Because in that waiting period, you don't want to be an annoyance. You don't want to sound ungrateful. You want to be careful with that, right? Because it's like, when? Why me? If you're going to complain and cry and bitch and moan the entire time that you are waiting, that's not a good demonstration of patience. And you receive temperance in your first quarter spread too. So you need to administer patience. And I know it's easier said than done, but these are some things you're going to be struggling with in the close of 2026. But by the time it's all said and done, Virgo, I am confident that you guys will have a story to tell. You will be able to say that, you know, you made it up out of something and your strength is present. Check my resume. You'll have a feather in your cap, if you will, and you'll be able to speak to the experience, and that experience will give you some cred. if you will, give you credibility in a certain arena, especially in this arena we call life. Like, listen, you need to learn some lessons, and it requires strength, patience, as well as honesty, being honest. And as far as guarded is being here, after what you went through, I can imagine that you would be guarded. But be sure to take the appropriate amount of responsibility as to why and how you arrived there, Virgo. And that lends to that pathway card in your Kipper spread, right? Because pathway is a series of events in your life that have occurred that have landed you in one spot or another. And this spread is saying you need to be responsible for why you need to be more guarded and why you now have to administer this amount of strength and patience in this part of your life, which will be the end of 2026. And be honest with yourself when you do that, Virgo. Yes, make sure that you are very honest with yourself about how you arrived there, who said what to who convinced you of this. No, it wasn't anybody putting a gun to your head. You made some very conscious decisions. So in doing that reflection, you'll be able to overcome some of those challenges in 2026 and close out the year as a winner. So that is your message. I hope that it helps. And until next time, peace.